Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. We are back, Josh.
We are back.
We are back.
Yeah, dude, the off season flew by. I can't believe the season is already back. But we got a lot to talk about. We got games. We have games tomorrow.
Week one.
Week one is finally upon us. And now, if you want to know basically where we've been since our rookie draft, well, life comes at you fast, and we had to take a break. And we are able to do a lot more improvements, like some kind of dreams that we wanted for the season to finally happen. And you guys are seeing it now, which is awesome.
We can't see it, but you can, so good for you.
Well, in post, you will see it, Ethan.
Yeah.
Actually, I sent you a picture of it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, if you're out there and you're watching this in the wise words of Drake, it's too late. Because by the time this is posted, it's week one.
Yeah.
Week one's already started.
Week one is upon us. And what's also going to be happening here is we have a brand new schedule for you for the season. No longer will you see us do once a week. You are going to see us 3 times a week.
You're welcome.
So we are basically going to have a preview episode of every game every Thursday for you. So you are prepared going into your week. And then during the weekend, Ryan and I will actually be doing another show that's going to be injuries and information is how we're calling it. That's working title, but basically we're going to go down all the news for you and just to kind of go over things that you need to be aware of, whether it's injury, who's in, who's out this week, and basically how to set the best lineup for you possible. All of that going to end up going into our weekly reviews. Literally during Sunday Night Football, you will see us talk about how the games went, who had the best lineups,
and also watching the games.
We'll also be watching the games.
Oh,
it's gonna be a family atmosphere, you know.
Yes, it will be.
We will be relaxing. Talking ball is what we want to do, guys. You ready to kick off 2022?
Well, before we get started,
Oh,
please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Last Place FP. So come and check us out.
We're getting more tech
savvy. Yeah, we are.
We really are.
I've been posting a lot of stuff as of late, so get on, check us out. That's where we'll be posting any updates to our schedule if we're, doing anything new with that. So get on our social media. So all right, we can go ahead.
Without further ado, season is starting. We're starting now.
All right, our first
Thursday night football.
Thursday night football, and we are going to be starting with
a banger,
with a great start.
A great game, Bills and Rams.
Yeah.
No better way to kick off week one. So
just
guys,
preview the Super Bowl casually.
Yeah, it could be a Super Bowl preview, honestly. Rams, your defending champions. They bring back Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers, Matthew Stafford. But really, I mean, I think we should start.
Everyone but OBJ, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, OBJ. They said that they're
and their left tackle.
Yeah, Whitworth retired.
Whitworth's out.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we should talk about their brand new addition. As their wide receiver too. They traded away Robert Woods and the
but that's my segment. Wow, you're just gonna steal my thunder. All right, Joshua is a thief, and I want everyone to know that.
I am.
That is not his nose. We're sitting here pre-talk about Thursday night football, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? You're right, Ethan." And then he steal. All right, go ahead.
I am giving you a home run ball right now.
That's okay.
All right, girls.
Wow. The rust is real.
It's all right. Joshua's a thief.
Starting off the year rough, guys.
So Ethan, Ethan.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the Rams' newest addition at wide receiver.
We sure do.
And who would that be?
Allen Robinson. If you guys missed out on the Allen Robinson sweepstakes in the offseason when he was worth literally nothing on Chicago and with trade talks in there, I don't know what you were doing. He was a guy I've been high on and wasn't able to get in any of my leagues because people just didn't want to offload him. Because I feel like there was 2 sides of the spectrum with him. It was the hopefuls that he was going to get somewhere like where he ended up. and then the panickers who are selling him for whatever they could get.
I will tell you, for
Yeah.
someone who had to endure the Allen Robinson experience last year, that I gave
Yeah.
up on him mid-season. I was like, I can't do this
Yep.
anymore. And in our league, I drafted him in the 4th round. Like, that's unheard
Over
of.
Cooper Cup.
Over
mind
you.
Cooper Cup, yeah.
Over Cooper Cup.
But yeah, that's actually, like, with Allen Robinson, I should have understood, especially in a dynasty league, that it's like, look, he is on the last year of his deal. Ain't no way he was coming back to Chicago.
Yeah.
No matter how
not with
good
the way
Justin
that he
Fields
performed
was.
last year.
Well, not the way he performed, but also Nagy kind of burned the bridge at that point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so with that, I was like, I should have known that Allen Robinson was going to be gone, and he was going somewhere. And as soon as you heard the Rams signed him, I feel like the narrative completely flipped. And it
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, now you got to focus on Allen Robinson, because this offense can handle 2 plus 2, almost 3 receivers if you
Yeah.
want to, plus a running game. Like McVay can do it. You have Matthew
Mhm.
Stafford, who is literally at his age still the best quarterback Allen Robinson's ever played with. Crazy.
Yeah.
enough.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
No, I
enough.
mean, I think he's super pumped though. I think you're gonna see stats a little bit better than where OBJ was ending at the end of last season with him.
Yeah.
Because he's a
Yeah.
star. He just needs a QB.
Oh, he was
Well,
like,
and
he's
even
always
then-
been so good despite his quarterback play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even then, the Rams have stated they put out a post saying that they're leaving a locker open for OBJ.
Yeah, I
So,
saw that.
I mean, OBJ, Allen, and Cup all
Yeah.
in the same wide receiving room.
And I think
that's crazy.
they're literally just letting Odell heal up, and
Yeah.
it's already a handshake deal that it's gonna happen.
They're leaving the door open for him.
He's
They
gonna
want
come
him
in
back.
at the end of the season. Like you're just gonna see that update. Like OBJ finally signs deal with the Rams. Go
So
for a
OBJ
playoff
is a
push.
deep stash.
Yeah.
You know, especially with Allen Robinson being there, he's a deep stash. in
If you have the
case.
space on your team.
Yeah. If you have an IR slot, put him in.
Yeah.
Keep him there.
The one person I do want to talk about, I mean, we've really talked about the Rams, and just to kind of continue on the Rams, there's 2 players I really want to look into. That's Stafford with this elbow issue that might be
Yeah.
legitimate, which is kind of scary. And then Akers. I really want to see. Cam Akers had the brand new Achilles surgery, which is how he came back so early. And I really do want to see how it impacts his performance.
Yeah.
I mean, with ACL injuries, like you've kind of seen how the surgeries have progressed to where like ACL is not as a career killer as it once be, and I'm wondering if Achilles is going to be the same way.
Yeah.
But with Stafford is the one that scares me though.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
mean
'cause
I am too.
it will affect the the productivity of the rest of the team.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah, I
that's
get
It could be like a Big Ben situation these last
Mhm.
few years.
yeah, it really that's a great like situation
yeah.
callback, Ethan. It
Yeah.
could be that way.
That's what I'm here for. That's why I get paid the
because
big bucks.
when Ben was down, I mean, it really affected the team as a whole. So
Yeah.
And
you
Oh,
know, players to watch on that, the whole wide receiving core, obviously.
yeah,
And then Akers and
Darrell
Henderson.
Henderson. Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
Akers and Darrell Henderson, they have already stated that they're splitting the backfield. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think
So,
Akers is more of a
yeah.
risk than Henderson. I mean, Henderson's injury prone, but he's not.
But so is
injury
Akers.
prone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So
Well,
they're
and I
both-
mean, McVay came out and said we have 2 RB1s, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
I would just stay away if you have them. They might be a good flex option. Maybe
Yeah,
a
but don't put
low-end
too much
RB2.
stock.
Don't
Yeah.
put too much stock in them. You know, if they're healthy, put them out there. But if not, hold on to them. Maybe even try to trade them away. But
yeah, I would basically hope that one of them just has a hot hand and McVay
Yep.
rides the hot hand. But
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
I think you're going to see them be super balanced this year, though. Like
they're
it's
going to
going,
try to spread it around so
Yeah.
no one back takes all of the weight.
Yeah.
So
and not one quarterback takes all the weight as well.
Mhm.
And I think it could just be a load management kind of deal.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a quarterback who does not have load management whatsoever. Josh Allen.
yeah,
QB1.
the man.
How do you guys think he's gonna do in this game? Because I think he's gonna do well,
Yeah.
but
I mean, he's just so funny. He's such a goofy, good old boy. Like he's just like the depiction of Wyoming at QB. But no, I love Josh Allen. He's my QB in my league. I'm the commissioner of a league officially, so that's gonna be interesting. But I'm super pumped for him. I think as long as he can manage his contact, he should be okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's gotta watch taking those hits. But
One thing I will say too is he probably has the most talent this year that he's ever had, which might be scary to say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like the running back situation is really interesting. You got Singletary, Zach Moss is still there and still involved, and James Cook. So you have this
yeah, Zach
three-headed
Moss is
trio.
kind of
I
yeah,
think he's
the
more, he's gonna
three-headed
be more,
trio, man.
yeah, he's gonna be
But
more goal line. And I think
yeah, Zach Moss has
Yeah.
kind of taken the back seat a little bit. He's been more goal line stuff. You saw, Devin Singletary kind of take the reins at the last 3 or 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that the passing work is going to be pretty much handed off to
Cook.
Cook.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
Yep.
if you think about it, they tried to sign JD McKissick in the offseason.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
So
they had
that's-
him until
what they
he
were looking
went
for.
back on the deal, which is crap.
Yeah, and I think, like, really, I think James Cook's role is going to be that. I could also see James Cook's role expanding, depending on how well he runs the ball too.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But then we talk about that. I mean, Isaiah McKenzie, you have Dawson Knox, who
Yep.
just got extended. You also
I think
have-
Dawson's going to be a regression candidate.
Dawson is that candidate for me. I think they signed him more for blocking, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, last year, I was actually in a couple home leagues, and a lot of people were like, "Yeah, Dawson Knox was getting 20+ points for me last year," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like 3 catches, 5 targets, and 2 touchdowns. You're going to do very well. But if you're that touchdown dependent, where you're
Yeah.
almost getting a 1-to-2, a 1-to-1 ratio, yeah, sign me out. Like I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
no, I'd be trading him, honestly.
sure.
Like you got a very small sample size of what they want him to do. And now with how explosive like Gabe Davis and as Isaiah, McKenzie has looked, that's gonna be
Yeah.
tough for him.
And then
Yeah, Gabe Davis for sure is
Jamison Crowder
definitely a
too.
sleeper. Yeah.
No,
Definitely a
Crowder's
sleeper
Crowder's
candidate.
dead to McKenzie, but
No, I just think because Isaiah McKenzie is trying to get onto the field, so I think Crowder is going to be there to kind of start.
he's clear.
And it's going to be kind of like that Emmanuel Sanders, Gabe Davis transition. I think it's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be Crowder to McKenzie.
I don't know. McKenzie's cleared for week 1. I thought I saw he was starting.
He was hurt a bit in camp, I think. So that's
Yeah,
why.
he was dealing with groin issues, but he's officially cleared. He's gonna be playing week 1.
All right,
Yeah, he's
sweet.
cleared, but it might be a lingering issue that goes into the
Nah.
regular season. So
He's not a baby.
huh.
Well, he might be, but
We'll never know.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
We will find out tomorrow. And again, what a way to start. Y'all ready for the next game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's going
Alrighty,
over.
next game. We got the Eagles going to Detroit to play the Lions. How are y'all feeling about this game?
I
I
want
think
to
we're gonna learn a lot.
Yeah, I want to see Amon-Ra and Swift break out this year.
He's not a homer
I
at
want
all.
to see that. I think Swift might be, but Amon-Ra
I mean, Swift
might end up
has-
be a mid-tier wide receiver too.
I mean, the big thing with Amon-Ra, and I do want to keep bringing this up, is that he didn't really get open until they signed Josh Reynolds. And
Yeah.
it's like just having another like good receiver on the outside help open things up. And
Well,
so
and now they have
Yeah.
DJ.
yeah,
or wait,
they have Chark. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously
DJ Chark.
JMO's not playing, but like you also have Hawkinson coming back. Hawkinson was out so early, but he was getting basically
Yeah.
Yeah.
attacked every single week in the beginning of the year. Your offensive line is a year stronger.
yeah,
And I think Goff is serviceable.
he is.
Here's my thing with this game. We're gonna find out if the Lions are still the worst team in the NFL, or if
Okay.
Dan Campbell's gonna turn it around and be coach of the year.
Yep.
And then we're gonna find out if this new look Eagles passing game is actually gonna work. It's gonna be
Mhm.
interesting because Miles Sanders is kind of a question mark. It seems like he's been marked healthy on the injury report, So that's kind of confusing. But I don't know. We're gonna learn a lot about both teams from this
Yeah.
game, and I think it's
Guys,
gonna be a good matchup.
I think Kenny Gainwell might be the starter. I
No,
don't know. That's just been my gut
Really?
feeling. I think that might happen this year. Like
I
legit.
think he's
That would
gonna
be
get a
interesting.
lot of passing work, but he's not the starter.
Yeah.
I just think it's possible. Miles Sanders has always been like injured to some sort of extent, and Gainwell offers passing work that Miles Sanders just simply hasn't shown this year. Granted, you can blame that on just the scheme, but that's just kind of happened that way.
All I hear
Um,
is Hummer.
But Hertz is also another breakout candidate that you need to watch because
Yeah.
he looked fairly solid last year. If
I don't know. He was what, QB5?
If he develops
He
his,
was
yeah,
the QB2 before he got hurt.
yeah. If he develops his passing game, I think it may end up, being a potential Josh Allen type
Yeah,
situation.
just
where-
even improving
Maybe
that
more like
by
Lamar.
a little
But
bit. Yeah, it could be a more Lamar
Yeah, but
like
Lamar-
situation.
Lamar developed his passing game for like a year, and then he
Yeah,
struggled
Only
with it
threw to
down the
Mandrews.
stretch. Yeah,
basically.
his first year he sucked at passing. The second year he was great, and then now he's back to
And
like, oh, I'm
so-
not that great at passing.
You see, Ryan, I like to disagree with that, but we'll talk about that during the
So
Ravens.
really, really quickly before we move on from this matchup, I think it's ultimately going to come down to can AJ Brain, AJ Brain,
AJ Brain,
can AJ
Ooh.
Brown stay healthy,
big question.
and can he help this team? And then can Hawkinson elevate the offense for Detroit?
Yeah,
I think
'Cause
Hawkinson.
he's got to be the guy.
can. Yeah, Hawkinson, I
Yeah.
think, is option one for the moment, with Amon Ra as option two. But
Yeah.
make no mistake, they will run the ball.
yeah.
And,
Yeah, and Swift, is
Swift
going to
is
be
a
good.
big part of that offense.
But,
But-
really, the
yeah.
big thing that I kind of want to bring up also is the trade the Eagles literally just made for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Like that's where
Oh
it's,
my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah,
that's where I'm
right.
like,
that
okay,
team's
all
kind
right,
of
this
loaded.
yeah, this Eagles team is insane. So like, do I have to temper my expectations on the Eagles defense? Do I have to
Mhm.
temper my
Yeah.
expectations on Amon
You
Ra
all
right
on their
now?
defense. Their front seven is awful in Philadelphia. That's the only
Yeah.
thing.
Awful?
Yes.
Maybe they're linebackers, but not their D line.
Mm.
Your
Their D-line's got to
I
prove it
haven't
this
taken a
week.
look at their D line.
Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, and Jordan Davis.
Hey, they got to prove it because they were one of the worst units in the NFL last year.
I think part of
With
that
2 out of those 3 on the front seven.
part of the issue there was I think the scheme and just adjusting to it because it was completely different compared to like the Jim Schwartz defense.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
hey, I love to be proven wrong, but that's my note going into this game is how bad is that front seven?
that I think we will find that out very quickly because
Yeah.
Lions have a sneak good O line, honestly.
Mhm.
The Browns Panthers next game.
Yeah, Browns Panthers.
Browns and Panthers is the next game. Almost there.
Josh did draft first round DJ Moore.
Oh, dude. I hate ESPN for that one. That one is like, you are dead to me.
Oh, we have to. Oh, wait, no, we'll bring it up for the Falcons game. What I did.
Oh yeah, we'll bring it up for that because I think there's a good discussion on it. But Browns
Yeah.
Panthers really the big thing here, and I put it in my notes. I just want to see Baker rain hellfire. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it's gonna be a revenge game for him.
The
revenge.
Wrath of Baker.
Yeah, the
Yep.
wrath of Baker. Like this is your 1 week to start Baker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other
either-
week he's going to be injured.
Either
but this
booms
week-
or he busts.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah, and then obviously Chubb, CMC, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
But please CMC stay
CMC
healthy.
Coming off
Oh
the
my gosh,
injury.
yeah.
Please.
Coming off of a really rough 2
You know
years
what?
for him.
Here's
So,
one thing we don't
let's
have in our
see.
notes. But Kareem Hunt, is he getting traded or is that going to affect this game
that's
at
a
all?
good point.
Because they didn't extend him.
Mm,
Yeah, so I don't know actually. That's something that we do need to figure out.
So, but I mean, if you're figuring out your lineup for this week, be wary about Kareem Hunt. There might be a mentality thing there or a scheme thing there since he's saying, trade me, I don't want to be here. That's something to keep your eye on
Hmm.
when you're setting your lineup for Sunday.
yeah, I would definitely look into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that there's much else for that game other than the
I
Wrath
mean,
of
Yeah,
Baker.
I'm
and
that's
personally-
about it. Yeah.
I'm personally not starting Kareem Hunt until I get an answer. And
No,
you
yeah,
will,
not
you will
even
know
flexing.
right off the bat. Yeah,
No,
not even
but
flexing.
yeah.
But
I-
Chubb is an automatic lock. CMC is
Yeah.
a lock. you
Chubb is
know.
interesting though because it's Jacoby Brissett. So
Yeah.
Speaking of Brissett, I do want to bring up Njoku because Brissett
Yeah.
loves throwing to the tight ends, and I think that's where
Mm.
Njoku, like, he did get paid. Like, he's a part of this team for a while.
They'll definitely
Yeah.
scheme him in.
Yeah,
yeah, he did
they
love
kinda
Jack
have to.
Doyle in Indianapolis back when they made their run.
And he had
Okay.
Gronk in New England.
But let's
Yeah.
talk about Amari Cooper. Do you think he's going to get much
No.
work?
I have
in this
been
new-
so
this Browns
against
offense?
Amari Cooper this year, not because of Amari Cooper, though.
Same.
Anti Amari Cooper channel.
Well, I think he was thrown into a bad situation. He was expecting a
Yeah.
good quarterback
and
that
got
was
a
gonna that
Jacoby
yeah,
Brissett.
that would have targeted him a lot, and he ended up getting Jacoby
Well,
Brissett
not even that.
in
Jarvis
a,
Landry.
Honestly,
rushing, in a rush first offense. So that's
Can we
that's,
nominate
like,
that for Cuck of the
rough.
Year? Amari Cooper going to the Browns.
Dude, even the trade value. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Fifth
Oh
and
my
sixth round
gosh.
for Amari Cooper? Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding
that's
me?
disrespectful.
That's disrespectful. And
awful.
like, you have to understand, like, yes, he's kind of been hurt. Yes, CD Lamb was there, but like,
Yeah.
But it's
Amari
Coop.
Cooper did his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was a wide receiver one there. So trading him away for that little is an
Brutal.
iffy move. But you know, he would have gone to a better situation if Deshaun Watson was there.
Hadn't done Deshaun Watson
hadn't
things.
done
Yeah.
what he did. So
Exactly.
you know,
Allegedly.
he may
We'll
he
stay
may get
non-biased
him.
here.
Yeah, he may get him back middle of the season, but
By
who
then,
knows?
how much is it going to matter?
exactly. You know,
Well,
he
I
may
think
be.
that's a good place to leave it.
Well, yeah, that's a good place to leave it, you know, and we can discuss this later on, but who knows what may happen if Deshaun comes back. He may be
Yeah.
a
Oh,
great
yeah.
playoff push flex.
I mean, he struggled in the preseason,
So,
but that's none of
He,
my business.
he literally can't practice or play for 12 straight weeks. Like,
Yep.
I don't know what delusions of grandeur people have, but like, it's only going to
who
go
knows?
downhill from here. The
Yeah.
best to me, and I'll be the hot take person here. The best case scenario is that Jacoby Brissett catches fire, because
Yeah.
trying to get Deshaun Watson 12 weeks plus into the season, like, you're already in a groove. You're
Yeah.
already in a
Yeah.
routine as far as how you're calling things.
Everyone's got it
and
down.
you,
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
just go, oh, by the way, we have Deshaun Watson now. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know how well that's gonna work.
Well, and he is
I get ya.
chaotic enough to just maybe make it work.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Who knows?
Like, for on the field.
But 49ers Bears, speaking of chaos.
Yeah, 49ers
Yes.
Bears. Mooney
Mooney,
Darnell
Mooney,
Mooney.
and more Mooney.
is finally gonna be wide receiver one in Chicago. I am so excited about this. I really regret trading him to you, Josh. I'm
Yeah.
so jelly. Because he's gonna be, I think he's gonna be a breakout this year.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
great potential. Him and Fields, they clicked last year, and I think
Yeah.
it's just gonna get better with time. So
Clear connection. One person I
Mm-hmm.
want to bring up, he has been my tight end sleeper. Even though I brought up someone else during Statathon. But Cole Kmet.
Wait. yeah, Komet.
Yes,
Mhm.
Komet has great
There's been a
value if you
lot
can
of
get
Look,
him.
hype.
when you have 90 plus targets and you somehow don't get a single touchdown, like
Yeah.
That's like Miles Sanders not getting
regression.
a rushing
Yeah,
touchdown. It's
exactly.
the same exact thing.
It's the same exact thing. Regression to the means. He should be
Yeah.
one person to look at, and he's the de facto number 2 option.
Oh, for sure.
So here's the one problem though with this team. We could literally turn the how many times is Justin Fields going to get sacked into a drinking game and get plastered on Sunday.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's not good. I think this is where we really have to see what this game plan is going to be. I think it's going to have to be a lot of RPOs.
Yeah.
Honestly, just to hold defenders at bay, make quick decisions.
Quick game, boots, cowboy, all that.
And you better pray Darnell Mooney can beat someone down the sideline. That's
Which-
I
which-
think that's what's going
Which
to have
bodes
to be.
well for Montgomery. So,
Yes,
yeah.
I actually think Montgomery may have
Here's-
quite him and Khalil Herbert.
I do have to
Monty is
say,
such a weird situation. Go ahead, Ryan, and I want to talk about
oh,
Monty.
I was just gonna say, I saw an update from someone in the Bears organization that kind of whispered that um, Monty's future in Chicago is kind of in question. So
Yeah, they're gonna let him go.
they're questioning his place on that team. So, I mean,
I think part of
his
the
backup, anybody who's in a dynasty league, check out his backup. And if you can stash him, do it. Because next year you may have a starting running back.
Okay, now on to the 49ers. Trey Lance era, everybody. So really the big kind of questions here: how does Trey Lance look? How does Debo look? And why should you be drafting Brandon Ayuk this year?
Oh shoot, man. I'm a big Debo fan, but I think the emergence of Ayuk in this offseason and training camp, there's been a lot of whispers about him really performing very well this offseason. So who knows what that means for Debo? And he hasn't had Trey Lance as his QB before, like significant production. So we'll see how that goes. But I believe in Lance, man. I think he is a good
Yeah,
pickup.
I am a
So
huge believer in Lance, and to be quite
Well,
honest with
here's
you,
the thing. But before you get into that, Josh, I think the biggest thing with Lance and Ayuk is I feel like so many people forgot that when Lance was starting those 3 games last season, his preferred target was Ayuk, and then
yep,
Debo got the brunt work of the running game, and then a couple of passes thrown his way. But
yep,
all of his fantasy points when Lance was in was from running the football.
yep,
yeah,
yeah,
and I mean that's a big thing we do have to look at is for Debo is how many runs is he going to really have? Because obviously there was rumors talking about him not really wanting to be the wide backer. I guess being paid more like a wide receiver. But then there's stipulations in his contract where it's like, oh hey, bonuses for rushing touchdowns and rushing yards, and
Yep.
yeah. He kind of went back and forth. Well, at least when it comes to the media, the media came back at the end of last season and was saying how he didn't want to run the ball anymore. He didn't want to do that. That didn't want to, do any of that. So once he got his contract, then an article came out saying, pretty much from him saying like, "Oh no, I don't mind running the ball. I don't mind doing any of that." And it's like, okay,
yeah, I
it
wouldn't
kind of
mind
seemed a
either
little
if I
flip
was.
floppy, but I mean, that's up to him. If he's getting paid a lot of money to go run the ball, I mean, he's going to run the ball.
Yeah, I wouldn't
If he
mind if
wants
I
to.
was getting paid $76 million over the next 3 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It'll
So
be
I see him as being a part of the running game this year.
Yeah.
In some
It'd be a good match.
capacity.
I think especially to preserve Elijah Mitchell's health, it'd be smart of them.
Elijah Mitchell and now Jordan
For
Mason.
sure. For sure.
I'm so sorry, Trey Sermon truthers.
Yeah, Trey Sermon, man.
y'all gotta
Him
hold
getting
the L on
dropped.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big L.
Okay, really big question for you guys here. How are you feeling about Kittle? That's one I am nervous. I traded him
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
All the games that Debo was in, Kittle basically disappeared.
Yeah.
From what it saw for me. With especially this game, I mean, it looks like I don't know if Roquan Smith is playing it as. Do we know that at all? Because I
I
know,
don't know. There's
don't
been
know.
no update on him since he
yeah,
asked
there
to
has
be
been,
traded.
yeah. So that's where I'm worried now. If he's not playing,
Hmm.
then obviously Kittle could be an interesting start. But as far as the entire season, I've been out on Kittle. So that's where
Yeah, he's gonna be
I think he's going to
weird.
be the odd man out personally.
So where do you think that he ends the season? Like top
Tight
10,
end,
top
tight end
15?
10, but barely. And the only reason
Okay.
why is just because I think Ayuk takes a massive step forward, and I think
And those
I mean
targets.
deep, yeah,
Not a homer at all.
Yeah.
For everyone at home, not a homer at all.
Okay.
yeah, and Debo is just gonna do Debo things. Like he is clearly still the number one in that situation, and I think they're
Yeah.
gonna run the ball more with Lance. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's less targets. So I think like
In
I mean, and
general,
Kittle's like the one of the best run blocking tight ends. Period. Like,
Yeah.
and is one of the best like two-way options when it comes to just running the ball, catching the
Mhm.
ball. So, but I just don't see it. Like I really
Yeah.
don't. And I would love to be wrong. I love George Kittle as a football player. But that's my concern.
Yeah, I understand your concern. I get that. So I see him as maybe I'd say 7, 8, 9, maybe. I don't know if you go as deep
Yeah.
as 10, but I have a little more faith in him than you. So of course I haven't owned him, but you know it's I have a little more faith because Lance is still a young quarterback. He may end up leaning on Kittle a little more than what you
Yeah.
think.
That's very
So,
true. And I think that's probably the best case scenario.
yeah,
But that's the thing is
because
we don't know anything. We'll
exactly, we
find out
don't
on
Yeah,
know
the other.
we
anything.
will find
So
out on week
we will
one.
find out. Yeah.
Ethan, if you had to take a guess on Kittle, where do you think he ends up?
I'm feeling like tight end 7 is my gut
Okay.
reaction.
Okay, so it's around the same as
Yeah,
me.
around the same. All right.
Yeah.
So y'all ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
All righty. Well,
Transition
oh,
to Steelers and Bengals.
yep.
Ethan, who do you have?
I got Steelers in an upset, man. I think that offense is going to click. Well, it's either going to click or they're going to just get absolutely ran through. But
Yeah.
the key factor in this one is TJ Watt is the best player in the NFL.
Yeah. And also make no mistake, Minka Fitzpatrick is that dude at safety.
Yeah, very much so.
I am curious to see what they do. I really don't remember who the corners are for Pittsburgh, but Mike Tomlin always has a good game plan. But really,
Yeah.
a lot of the wins since he had, well, the big win that since he had against the Steelers last year was just Ben just not performing.
Exactly.
And when you have
Doing
Trubisky
Ben things.
and Pickett looking really good, like
Yeah.
legitimately really good, to where like I know we did rookie week, but I am ready to say I was wrong on Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, fair enough. I
Good.
mean, the other thing too is it's going to be a trenches battle. And if I have to take Steelers or Cincy in the trenches, I'm rocking with the Steelers every single
Yeah.
time.
I
I don't
who
think
are-
I'm disagreeing there.
got good.
I'm disagreeing there, to be quite honest with you. I am
That's fine.
terrified about the Steelers O line, personally. Now, if we're talking about like obviously the Steelers D line is incredible, even with Tuitt retiring, but
Yeah.
the Cincy revamped their O line. I mean, I'm curious to see there.
But is it going to work?
Is it going to work? That's the big question. I am terrified though about the Steelers O line.
So I have a question for you guys. Fantasy football wise, who are some players that you're going to be watching?
Any pit
Deontay
receiver.
Wilson.
I want to see who becomes the alpha, because we're getting hype for Pickens. I mean, obviously we know Deontay and we know Chase Claypool, but who takes off from that group?
Pickens is smoke and mirrors. Don't fall into that trap yet. He will be that guy, but he's not yet.
Wow.
It's smoke and mirrors on George Pickens right now.
Ethan, I am 100% with you on that.
Yeah.
I definitely think Pickens is a guy, especially if you're in a keeper league, like you sign him at the end of the year and then stash him.
Yes.
Because I mean, Deontay's deal is a 2-year, $36 million.
Deontay is incredible. He looks so good in the preseason.
Personally,
and he had connected with both QBs.
Yeah. I think he's just going to be that guy no matter what. I think he's the better route runner out of him and Claypool. Claypool is the interesting guy, personally.
He'll get long shot action, but he's going to be touchdown dependent.
Yeah, very touchdown dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So just be wary. Maybe a risky flex option.
Yeah, and also Pat Fryermuth, if you have him, start him personally.
Start him.
Yeah,
I would take him over.
I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying look out for Harris, Najee. I think there's going to be a little regression.
Yep.
From what he had last year. Well, I mean, moderate regression then. It's not going to be a huge change because he's going to be the workhorse there no matter what.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to be a major regression, but he will have regression that what he had last year. But I'm also looking at it on the other side of the ball. Chase, Burrow. I don't think they're going to have as fantastic of a year as they had last year, but
Yeah.
Chase is still going to
Yeah.
he's going to produce. He's
That
going to produce.
I don't necessarily know how it's going to happen. That's just been my gut feeling.
Yeah.
And as good as Cincy is, like, make no mistake, Burrow's elite, Chase is
Yeah.
elite, T. Higgins is solid, Tyler Boyd's really good. I've said it in the offseason, I'll say it again. For some reason, I can't buy into Zach Taylor's scheme. A lot of that scheme was my guy is better than your guy, but when that mentality is option one, I'm scared to know what option two is.
Right.
And because I personally, just as far as if I were a coach, which this goes into a lot of hypotheticals, but follow me here. I am a big believer of the scheme is obviously to like set up your players in the best situations possible. And then if that fails, let your athletes be athletes.
Yeah.
And let your stars be stars. Now, Cincy, I mean, their entire postseason run and their entire season run was, oh, you can't stop Jamar Chase, so we're just gonna just do whatever we want with Jamar Chase, which that turned out to work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's just with that idea, it doesn't necessarily strike twice. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I'm really going to be keeping my eye on, but I am nervous about the Bengals in that regard.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
who
this
knows?
game is
You
just
know,
going to be the hangover versus a new era. And we'll see what happens on Sunday.
That
Yeah, and
is
we'll
very
see,
true.
but that is
Very
a
much
great
true.
week one matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be good.
Okay.
All
So
right.
next one we have is Colts and Texans. Colts and Texans. Who are some players that you're going to be watching?
Smoke show.
All right, Colts and Texans, as I am
Smoke show.
terrible
Okay, so
as I am terrible
so-
at my job. Sorry, guys.
no,
Ready
you're good.
for a smoke show.
Smoke show for what?
Basically, Indianapolis is going to beat them until their pants fall off and they're embarrassed on national television.
Well, I mean, we figured that. I mean, that's kind of the Texans' MO the last like 2 years. So
Guys, it is
Yeah.
Damian Fierce time.
Listen,
I
he's
haven't
going
heard that
to be
before.
on his
I like
back for
that.
the entire
Oh,
game.
you haven't heard this? So that's been the one running around on Twitter so far is Damian Fierce.
Damian Fierce. All right. So we
Damian
got
going to be
Damian,
laying on his
Damian
back the entire
Fierce.
game. as
He might be
Darius
laying on
Leonard-
his back. Okay,
In the
so
end zone.
yeah, in the end zone. Yeah,
Wow.
celebrating. No, but
Yeah.
how do you
but
guys
which
feel
end
about
zone?
Damian Pierce? Do
Probably
you
not
think
the right one.
I think.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you my honest opinion on Damian Pierce.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he is going to be basically
Please.
James Robinson, but a little bit better. And
He's
the only reason
legit.
why is because I don't think he's going to. I think his efficiency will be better. He just won't get the volume that James Robinson got, which was kind of absurd.
Yeah.
But I think he will be one that is a late round guy and go, wow, oh crap, wow, he's actually legit. And he can win. I think he'll win you weeks just out of his consistency. I think
Yeah.
I think the big issue with Houston is Davis Mills has not looked the best, but that
Yeah.
also could just be him trying new things, which I think is very
Well,
possible.
Yeah, they're installing new stuff there in Houston before the season.
Yeah,
and
it's
a lot
also-
of it was wide receiver mistakes, I will
Mhm.
say.
yeah,
If you actually turn on the film, it's not always because Davis Mills had some good spots and had some drops that made him
Yeah.
look bad.
yeah, absolutely. But I
One-
go for it,
oh
Ryan.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, going back to like Damian Pierce, I think he's light years better than Marlon Mack. He's light years better than Mark Ingram. Like at the point in their careers, and so I think he will be a nice little like added touch to that offense. Plus, they also drafted Kenny Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys are buying into the hype.
I buy.
Damian
All right, it's
Pierce.
out of control. I
I-
will say it's completely out of control.
I
But-
questioned it at first, but yeah, I'm buying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in that same boat. I'm a believer, but I'm also I need to see it to truly believe it.
Yeah,
I
I need to see
let's
it
just
out.
say,
Give me like a week or two into the season, and if he performs
Mhm.
really well, I'm gonna be like, all right, cool, I'm on the train.
I will say
Let's
for the
do it.
people
But I need to see that production before I truly buy into it.
for the people drafting him in like the 7th, I want to know what it is you're smoking. But I did get him in the 10th, and I thought that was a
Yeah.
very good value
That's
for
good
him.
value. That's great
Yeah.
value.
Yeah, because he's not quite proven yet. You know, he has to play against starters in a regular game, not a preseason game.
But
You
those
know,
people are the
it's
same ones who drafted Jamarcus Russell first overall.
yeah.
These
They
are the people.
And Tim Tebow
and I
first, but I
do
won't go
agree
there.
with getting Dameon Pierce late rounds.
Yeah, late
Yeah.
You know.
rounds. I will say, just bringing up our dynasty league. When your dad took him at the 110, I was shocked. And then the more I kept thinking about it, the more I went, holy crap,
Yeah.
that is a great
Yeah.
choice.
He may
Captain
be a
Baldy,
pretty
you
good.
did it again, you jerk.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah,
He did it again.
Paul.
So
He got
one
something
other
in a place where he was not supposed to have it, and it's just frustrating.
two other fantasy players I do want to note on this game. The Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to say one thing on that. Just
Yeah, go ahead.
look for this game. It'll probably start out in the first half. Matt Ryan and Pittman will have like 2 touchdowns together, and it's just going to be a Jonathan Taylor smoke show. And that's all I'll say
Yeah.
on this game. Go
Oh,
ahead.
can I bring up
I love
more,
I
like,
love that they go ahead.
I want to bring up. I don't know. I haven't checked the depth chart, so this cannot age well, and I'll eat it. I want to see whether it's Jelani Woods or Mo Alley Cox.
Yep, Josh
I
is
think
ignorant confirmed. It's Mo Alley Cox. Go ahead, Ryan.
It's Mo Alley Cox. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
See,
Okay.
I was just saying I love the addition of Matt Ryan in the off season. I think adding a veteran
Hall of Famer.
QB. Yeah, a veteran Hall of Famer QB. And I think he's gonna do so well throwing to Michael Pittman.
Yep.
Pittman is another breakout candidate. We'll see as the year goes on. But those of you that got Pittman, what was it, 2 years ago? That was
it's
so
gonna
good.
pay off
So
this year.
good.
And you were
It
about
is
to
going to
reap
pay
the
off.
rewards in redraft leagues. He was one guy I said, no matter what, I have to get him on my team.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
ESPN said no.
And who did he go to on ESPN?
Ashley.
He went right.
Ashley.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I
Yeah, 'cause-
wanted to get him. I literally Ashley picked right before me, and she picked up Pittman before I could. I was like,
I literally,
"Dang
so obviously I started on the draft late. I wasn't able to get there in
Yeah.
time. And I see I picked up DJ Moore. I was like, well, crap, I guess like Michael Pittman wasn't available. And I look down, I see Michael Pittman. I'm like, God dang it. And then I just like Ashley's like
All right, Josh,
Ashley's
bold
looking at me
prediction
was
for
like,
the
yeah, it's
season.
Michael Pittman.
Here's Josh's bold prediction for the season. Apparently, DJ Moore is better than Michael Pittman. Next game.
That is
Who's playing
not
after
my
that?
bold
Who's playing
prediction.
after that? Nope, it's
Yeah.
confirmed. It's confirmed.
I'm gonna write that on our social media. that
Oh boy.
Josh has claimed that. It's gonna
Oh.
ruin all our credibility.
Watch me somehow
Okay.
be right. I hope
So-
not, but that would be hilarious.
Okay, so we have the newfound Dolphins versus the Patriots. This next matchup.
Listen,
Uh,
Tua's a better QB than Mahomes. I mean, you know.
I think that there's a lot of targets that Waddle's gonna need to give up to Tyreek. Tyreek and Tua have a connection. You saw that.
They
first
have
play of the
a
game.
connection, and
That
I think
was
we're gonna find
awesome.
the crap given to Tua. I think is going to be very like, oh, I'm gonna start taking it back.
Yeah, this is where we find out what Tua is made of, because there's no more excuses for him. None whatsoever.
I will tell you, Ryan. There's one person you named on this list as far as players to watch, but he is one person that I have jumped ship, and that's Mike Gesicki.
I wrote his name. I wrote his name down because he is a trade candidate for the Dolphins. He,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I believe that at least by midseason, he's going to be traded somewhere.
Literally, if you can't block, you will not play for Shanahan. Shanahan system, like
Yep.
without a doubt.
So-
And who's the head coach? Mike McDaniel.
Yeah,
Where does he come from?
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
Shanahan. Yep.
The Shanahanigans.
I was gonna say that Shanahanigans.
The Shanahan.
So I don't believe in Gesicki. I just wanted to make a note on here that he may not be a part of the team.
Yeah,
Sell
I
all
just
of your
don't think.
running
Yeah,
backs, though.
I just
They're
don't think he'll be
gonna throw the ball.
involved.
Yeah,
I do
Sell
think
Gesicki if you
Waddle
can.
will be an interesting start because he was hurt for quite a bit of training camp, so that will be an interesting thing to
Yeah.
look at. But also,
Listen, here's the thing about that team: Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to be the entirety of that team. They're
Yeah.
not going to run the
Yeah.
ball. They're not going to get it to Gesicki. It's going to be on Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle into him.
and
So those of you that bought into Chase Edmonds and
Whoops.
Raheem
well,
Mostert,
if you're PPR,
Right.
I say Chase Edmonds is still worth it because he is a
Yeah.
good late round
Yeah.
steal,
that's true.
and that's where I think he could his value is going to be. But as far as running the ball, like standard league, I am avoiding Chase Edmonds at all cost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Send him to the farm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So on the other side of the ball, Mac Jones, is he going to have another good year?
I
with
think
this
he's going to
Patriots
take some steps
offense?
forward. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near elite or anything like
Mhm.
that. But I think we're going to see a better version of Mac Jones. He's still picking up the offense, so it's
Yeah.
not going to look pretty. But I'm a Mac Jones believer.
I wasn't at the beginning of last year. I had a hard time believing in him, but over the whole season last year, he slowly gained my trust. Like he's a fairly consistent QB, and I like consistency on my team. I like being able to trust QBs. I like being able to trust running backs and wide receivers. So
I
he may
think
be
you're
a good one to I think he may be a good one to hold on to
Yeah.
as a bye week, stash. He's low end, probably I'd say a low end QB.
Yeah, he's
But
definitely a
there's
string
definitely
QB.
there's definitely better QBs ahead of him that I think would produce more, week to week. But if you're on a bye week and you need to pick somebody up off the waivers, he's probably going to be there. So
Yeah. And I really think you're going to see Mac Jones attack vertically
mhm.
Yep.
this year. And that's just something he didn't really do as often or as well as he did, like, say, at Alabama.
Alabama.
But
Yep.
I really think that's going to happen this year, honestly. Now, for me, the big question is, who on earth is this offensive coordinator for New England? That's something we're going to have to really kind of figure out.
Some homeless man found out in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, a puppet for Belichick. That's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
is
You
Brian
just see
Hoyer
Belichick on the
the offensive
sideline with his
coordinator,
hand just up this homeless man calling plays. So
like a ventriloquist?
Yeah.
Hi,
Oh man.
I am
not
Oshkosh
Belichick.
McDaniels.
Oh my gosh. You
Oh,
guys are terrible.
So
Okay.
actually, can we talk about one more person?
Yeah, go ahead.
Get Ramondre while you can.
Yes, Ramondre is a major steal.
He's taking
right
the
now.
James White role. So if you're in half PPR or PPR, you have to look at him.
I
I'll
am
believe it
so
when I
glad
see
that
it.
I
Same thing with
stashed him.
Damian Pierce.
Yeah, I had Damian Harris last year, and I picked up Ramondre about halfway through the year because I was like, if anything happens to Damian Harris, I'll have his backup. And I just held on to him through the off season, and it turned out being one of the best. It turned out being one of the best like handcuffs that I've picked up because
Yeah.
I think he's going to end up being pretty decent this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think
he's the equivalent of Pink
And
Fuzzy.
especially, yeah, well, yeah, they are. But with Damian Harris being on the last year of his contract and the way Belichick uses, abuses, and throws away rookie running backs,
Just like
you know,
Wives.
I see Ramondre stepping up into that major role possibly next year. So
Definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
the last thing I'll say on this game, and then we can move on, is it's really just going to be a fist fight. I mean, that's what every Miami New England game has been like over the years. I mean, obviously New
Yep.
England's gotten better of them most of the time, but it's going to be a fist fight. I think lots of points are going to be scored, so it'll be a fun one to watch, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is where, personally, this is where you realize that, oh, we knew Miami was going to be way better and good, but now it's like, you better watch out for Miami because they're going to come bring it. Honestly.
For sure.
All right,
For sure.
next
Yeah.
game, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'll let you do this.
All righty, so we have the Ravens going to New York/New Jersey to play the New York Jets.
Jets
Um,
upset. Go Joe Flacco.
No, all right. Honestly, I think here's the thing. I think the Jets are way better than what people give them credit for.
Okay.
But I also think the Ravens are still going to win this game, but it's not going to be by as much as people think. I personally am guessing 27-17. And the only reason why is because I think this Ravens team, given the amount of injuries and how much sacrifice they had to give to the football gods last year, this team is built to be ready mid-season and
Yeah.
fully healthy, ready to go. I don't think they are a finished product yet, or they're going to come out the gates firing. But I still
Mhm.
think they're very solid, and the roster construction, top to bottom, is fantastic. Personally, obviously, I think Lamar is going to have a revenge tour just based on how it all went, and then obviously him trying to prove,
He
basically
deserves money.
that
Prove that he deserves this extension. Yeah.
exactly. And but really, Andrews is one to look at. Bateman, obviously, for the Ravens. The one you need to look at, especially for Dynasty, is Isaiah Likely. Obviously,
Yeah.
he made waves earlier in preseason, but it's coming out that he's the legit number 3 option. So not
Yeah.
James Prochet, not Devin Duvernay. It's Isaiah Likely. And the reason why I think that's legitimate is that in the 4th preseason game, he was treated like a starter. And that's where I went, okay, everything that was reported is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the only
And I
note
have him.
yeah,
I
for
have
this
him on my
game.
taxi squad right now.
Yeah, you suck.
So
Here's the only
proud
note
of
I have for
stats.
this game.
I have them
I
on
didn't
my
spend
I have them on my team too.
Yeah.
So, in seriousness, I think Ravens are going to wash them out. There's
Yeah,
just not much
for
the
sure.
Jets can do. They're too young. I think
Yeah.
you're going to get more clarity on the running back situation for the Jets out of this game,
Yeah.
and you're going to
Brees
find
Hall,
out
Harvey.
whether Corey Davis is going to be a sleeper or whether it's going to be the Elijah Mitchell show. And
I
other than
think
that,
it's going to
who
be
knows
the.
with the
I think
Ravens?
the Elijah Moore show. I really think
I
he's
mean,
gonna
he's been
Elijah
the,
take
Moore,
over
so
wide
he's been
receiver one
him
duties.
and Garrett Wilson have been the one performing the most in camp.
Yeah.
I think Corey Davis got this offer, but I really want to check his contract out if this was the plan. To kind of just
Yeah.
he's going to be washed out by year 2.
Yeah.
Obviously,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And because they also doubled up on tight end too, Conklin
Yeah.
and Uzoma.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
It'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, really interesting to see. I mean, Flacco's a good veteran presence, so
I'm not
and
turning on this game though.
And they picked up Jeremy Ruckert.
well, yeah,
They
they
have
drafted Jeremy
Jeremy
Rucker,
Ruckert.
but he's tight end
Ooh.
3 right now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to commit more to running the
Shoot.
ball. I think the loss of Mekhi Becton is huge, and I think no one's really talked about it because that was earlier in training camp, and he was supposed to be going to right tackle. So this is where I'm like, what on earth is happening? But I do think
Hey.
Bateman's going to be something interesting because I think they're going to try and take him up, not line him up against Sauce whatsoever, just because.
No.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, let your players be players. Sauce is that guy, though. I ain't gonna lie, but he kind of sticks to
Yeah.
one side. It's literally new age Darrell Revis, legitimately.
Yeah.
But
But
that's
I am excited to see Brees Hall and
Yeah.
Michael Carter.
and he has a tough
duke it
test to
out.
start.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to see Brees Hall
Do
go
you-
out there and just.
Do you guys really buy that Michael Carter's a starter?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I never believed it. I was like, you know what? I'll still pick him up because what if there's actual fire in the smoke?
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
you need
I
to
still think it's
that's
Brees
what
Hall.
your ESPN
I
team.
think it's Brees Hall. I think it's Brees Hall.
But Ryan, who do we got next?
We have the Jags and Commanders. I
Oh,
know
all right. Can we skip
who
the
I
toilet
am
bowl?
looking out. I know who I am looking out for, and that is Gibson. Gibson
Wrong.
is going to be
Wrong.
great this year.
E-
Great this
And
game. This game. I think once Brian Robinson comes back, then he's going to have a lot of competition.
yeah.
But
For-
right
really quick,
now,
all the prayers
he
up
is
to Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
In his recovery.
yeah,
Yeah.
with what happened to him last week, I pray that he has a great
dude, that-
recovery, that he just fine after all of that. But Gibson, I think he's going to take over that backfield while Robinson's out.
Yeah.
So
And I saw, all right. So first off, yes to Brian Robinson. Like in an off season where we were all saying this is the craziest off season, like that was just like
yeah,
his whole thing. Like I feel really sorry for him because he had the running back job on lockdown. Now 4 weeks
yeah.
of just completely like not being able to do anything, and so the recovery, like
Yep.
it
Yeah.
sucks. It
Gibson
really
put a hit.
sucks because he's
Gibson was taking out his competition, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, we gotta think of like what would be the mafia name for Antonio Gibson. Antonio.
Oh, my
Gibson.
Father
No,
Gibbs.
I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
No, it's just Father Gibbs.
Father
Oh
Gibbs.
my gosh.
That's it.
Father
Father Gibbs.
Gibbs.
But all right, I do want to talk about Antonio Gibson. And I know, I mean, obviously we still have more games to go through, but
Yeah.
this is something that's been on my mind for weeks. And I
Keep it brief,
Dude.
you old man.
yeah, I'm kind of pissed off about the Antonio Gibson situation, even though I don't have him. I'm still
Yes.
kind of pissed off for it. This regime is the one to draft Antonio Gibson. Like this wasn't a situation to where it's like, oh, the old regime took Antonio Gibson and we're not going to invest. No, it's the same people. So this is
Yeah.
where it's like, why have you given up on Antonio Gibson, who did not play running back until his rookie year?
Yeah.
This, like
And
the whole
been
development of
arguably
running
one of
back
the
to wide receiver is literally just like it takes time. And
Yeah.
so the fact that you have
Yeah.
given up on him in year 3, I've
Yeah.
been saying it is indicative of the coaching staff. And if
Yeah.
I was Antonio Gibson, I'd be asking for a trade,
Yep.
legitimately. Because the
Agreed.
thing
For
is, like,
sure.
if you're giving up on me now, like you signed up for what the development was. It's like, yes, you're a 4th round pick, but we believe you can be a top guy. But
Yeah.
to give up on him, Brian, and get Brian Robinson, this is not a Brian Robinson issue at all. And
Yeah.
but we've seen time and time again, Antonio Gibson has that home run ability that people don't. And
Yeah.
out of McKissick, out of Robinson, out of Gibson, Gibson's the only one of those running backs that has the home run ability. So the fact that he got demoted to special teams, not even RB2, special teams, is
That's
indicative of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's
just-
where it's like I've said it, like they don't set up Terry McLaurin to get like the manufactured touches. Like I bet you Scott Turner's system is really good. Like the fact that like he's been in the NFL for so long, there's no way that his system is not good. What
Yeah.
I will say is not good is taking advantage, or not taking advantage, putting your star players in advantageous situations is what we see McVay do the best. It's what we see Kyle Shanahan do the best. What LaFleur has done. Why? Like, what is going on here? Because I literally jumped ship from Terry McLaurin after what happened last year. I'm jumping ship. I jumped ship
joke.
off of Antonio Gibson. Wentz, it may help Wentz out. Like Wentz may be the best quarterback that they have had in a long time. Like probably since Kirk Cousins. But like I can't trust the Washington coaching staff to put these players in good situations. And if I can't do that for actual football, I can't do that for fantasy football.
Yeah, no joke.
Well, hey, all rants aside, what I'm looking for in this game is ETN. I think we're going to see the coming of ETN and the comeback of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I was going to say Trevor Lawrence is probably going to progress.
Oh,
year.
light years.
And
The only
I
thing,
think he finally has
Yeah.
people to target,
Yep.
good quality running or quality wide
well,
receivers
he will be
to target.
checking it down a lot to ETN. So
Oh,
not
he
far off
will.
from the trade.
And James
He will.
Robinson.
Nope,
And James
not
Robinson.
yet.
I
Here's
thought he
the
was
one thing I
cleared.
will say.
I
Here's
think
the one thing I will say
think
about Jags
he's.
offense.
Go ahead.
You're gonna feel the pain of that Christian Kirk contract.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
that Christian Kirk contract, I didn't think it would reverberate the way it did. Oh, but it rippled the entire league.
Yeah, it did. It. Oh.
But I mean, you have Kirk, you have
Marvin.
Marvin Jones Jr. That's it, because they traded LaVishka
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and Chark left. Unless
Yeah.
I mean, they did sign Evan Ingram, so that could be wide receiver 3, and then you have ETN,
Yeah.
and James Robinson. But the only thing I will say is Evan Ingram is definitely one person you want to look at is for waivers. I think you may need to have a 4-game sample size to be quite honest with you, but you may have to start being like legit about it in week 3.
We'll see. Yeah.
Doug Peterson loves targeting tight ends. And that's something that that's just history has proven it so. And they signed Evan Ingram to a $10 million deal as a prove it deal. So this could be legitimate. And on top of
It
that,
could be.
remember who their tight end 2 is? Dan Arnold.
Ooh.
So you have a 2 tight end
Dang.
system. Now, obviously not as popular, but it's something that we have to be like aware of.
So they might actually produce, decent production from their tight ends.
Exactly.
That
That's
may
one.
be, that may be somebody to look at. Dan Arnold, and who was the other one?
The other Dan Arnold and Evan Ingram.
And Evan Ingram. So just shout out for anybody that's needing a tight end that has the bench space to stash. So Evan Ingram and Dan Arnold, just stash them, see if they develop into something, because we don't know quite yet what this offense has in store. So, okay, moving on to our next matchup.
Great question.
Giants at the Titans.
Oh boy.
We're moving on to our Sunday afternoon games.
This isn't
I'm looking for a resurgence of Saquon.
Yep.
I don't think he's gonna be at his rookie form. I think the Giants have learned their lesson and are not going to be just leaning on Saquon the entire time. I think they learned their lesson. They're not going to do that anymore. I think they're going to spread the ball around, but they are going to use him. He is a weapon that they can use. So, and I also see comeback player of the year, King Henry, Mr. Derrick Henry himself. He is going to be the comeback player this year. That's my prediction. So, Ethan, what do you think about this matchup? You're muted right now.
Uh-oh.
No.
There you go.
Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're Ryan. King Henry, no.
No?
No.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
I only have one
Interesting.
quick note for this game, and then you guys can girl talk it out. But really, this is just going to be about how bad the Giants' wide receivers are against how good Tennessee's defense will play.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very
That's very
curious
limited.
to see how the Dayball system works with Daniel Jones, even though I'm
Yeah.
pretty confident in that Daniel Jones is not
It's
the
not.
answer in New
Yeah.
York, but I do think like Tony, Wandale, and Saquon are definitely going to be mainstays for sure. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really just going to be Barkley doing the best he can, and that's going to be the game in terms of like Giants fantasy. In terms of Tennessee fantasy, we're going to see how much the injury affected Henry, and then we're going to see what that system is like with it's Chad Okonkwo that's in Tennessee, right?
Chigo Okonkwo is a tight end, but also
it's a tight
Kyle
end.
Phillips and Traylon Burks.
Nope.
Yeah.
Traylon is dead.
I don't
All
think
Robert
Traylon
Woods.
is. I don't think Traylon is wide receiver one there. He
Nope,
may
Robert
be
No,
Woods.
it's
two.
Robert Woods. That
It's Woods. It's Bobby Trees is going to be wide receiver one there.
yeah.
Yep.
Let's
then
go,
they
Bobby
have-
Trees.
Yeah, and then they have what's his name? Second. I think this is his second year
Oh,
in the league.
Akine?
Akine, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
Akine.
Yeah,
Nick
Nick
Westbrook.
Westbrook, Akine. Yeah, I think Akine is going to take a step forward
He
this
could be
year.
a sleeper.
He definitely
He
could
may
be.
He's
even
a weird
overtake.
flex sleeper.
I think he's going to overtake Woods,
Yeah.
whether by injury or by skill. He's going to overtake Woods this year.
Well, prediction.
So
I
like
can
it.
see it. I personally see that it's going to be Kyle Phillips because I think Kyle Phillips
Okay.
will man the slot role. And based on preseason play, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I thought Malik Willis would need the entire year. I say if Tennessee's not looking good by bye week, we could see Malik Willis like legitimate.
Okay.
so
and-
Tannehill gets usurped.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's possible. Like
And
I
Hill loses it again.
like I don't think it happens, but there's a non-zero chance of it, honestly.
Yeah.
And,
Good predictions.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's something that we can, see. I could see happening.
Yeah.
In the middle.
And
of the
we'll watch
season.
for it on Sunday and we'll follow as the season
sure.
continues. But
yeah,
For
who
sure.
got next, Ryan?
Yeah, this next matchup, Chiefs v Cardinals,
Ooh.
Sunday afternoon.
a
Kyler,
good
Mahomes, Kelsey. That's a potent matchup right there.
How
Very
much is
potent.
Kelsey going to carry this team? That's
I
my
think
gut
that's
reaction.
I think that's
Yeah.
the big question, honestly.
Now
it
Kelsey
really
is wide
is.
receiver one.
I
Yeah.
mean, wide receiver
He
one.
is-
I think we're gonna see between MVS, Juju, and Sky Moore. Like who's the person that's next?
No one.
they're going to
no
be
one
duking
separates.
it out. They're going to be duking it out to figure out who is that wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Right
that's
now it's
what we're
Juju.
going to see. I
Yeah.
think what we're going to see this Sunday and going forward is one of those three wide receivers is going to rise to the top. So watch your waiver
Yeah.
wires.
Yeah,
CEH, can he stay healthy? Question mark?
I'm not a believer in CEH.
And then finally, Kelsey, wide receiver one. Is he going to stay healthy in that role? How much can he carry? Is Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
going to be the same one from last year where he's going to be doing too much? I mean, it's just a big question mark game for me.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of question marks that's
Yeah.
only going to be solidified by time and then playing games.
yeah. There's a lot of question marks. I personally think Andy Reid. I really think they're going to adjust. I think they may just commit to running the ball more. And that might be the key there, and just like unlocking play action. Now, that's where it gets interesting. I would say also as a last round or late round waiver addition, Isaiah Pacheco. I think it.
Don't
I-
buy the hype.
It's not hype. It's having no faith in CEH.
Yeah,
I don't have any faith.
Okay.
It's literally
I
it's instead of like it's a whole thing of I have more. It's not that I have more faith in Pacheco. It's I literally am heavily concerned about CEH.
Yeah.
And the
I
thing is, we
think-
have also seen Ronald Jones just not be healthy
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think with CEH, he gets replaced either this year or next.
I really
He
hope
gets
he does
replaced.
good. I really hope he does good though, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think he's gotten a lot of crap, but over the last couple years of his career. But like, if we really think about it, that Chiefs interior O line was just
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was awful.
garbage his rookie year,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
last year was just weird, just really weird. That
I just didn't see the explosiveness I like to see in running backs in him. I just didn't see
Well,
it. And I don't like
to,
that.
to kind of change
You know-
gears, 'cause I don't want to go down a rabbit hole in that, but in terms of Cardinals, I think the big note for them is really going to be how big of a tantrum is Kyler going to throw this season? Because we saw last year they had success, and then he threw a
Yeah.
tantrum, and they threw the entire season away. So I think it really
Yeah.
comes down to that. I know, Josh, you hate Cliff and whatever. You're going to personally attack him till the day you die, and that's
Yeah.
fine. but it really comes down to Kyler and how big of a tantrum he throws this season.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest with you, and the only reason I get on Cliff is because I've seen him adjust, and I was like, you can do this. You're just choosing not to. And that's where it's like, unfortunately, the D-Hop trade kind of emboldened that. But I mean, here's what we're gonna see. Ertz is gonna be, I guess he's gonna be a factor. You have Hollywood, you have Rondale. I am nervous about both those trying to be wide receiver one. I'm personally worried, and seeing Hollywood in Baltimore, that
Yeah.
it's kind of my sample size.
Yeah.
Trey McBride is definitely someone I wouldn't say look at right now, but mid-season, watch out. That's one guy I think if there's any transition that happens, it's going to be there.
Yep.
Ryan, any final notes?
No. Other than
Yeah,
you know,
that's
there has
basically
been
it
some
on that
trade
game,
rumors.
honest.
Yeah, there's been some trade rumors about Alexander Madison on the Vikings
Okay.
being traded away. I think a good landing spot for him might be the Chiefs. So
Ooh,
Okay.
that's
I
just
can see
my
that.
little 2 cents
Well,
in there.
I can see
I'll say
that.
one last thing before we move to the next game, and just be ready for a James Conner regression.
Yep.
And that's
Ooh,
the thing
yeah.
I'll
Yep.
say about
We called this in the offseason. I'm
Yep.
gonna hold to it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Who do we
Definitely
got next,
keep that
Josh
in your back pocket. Okay, so we have
or Ryan?
Raiders v Chargers.
This
I
game's
think
going to be
that is going to be
insane.
a high-powered game.
The
I am gonna be watching
downfall
this game.
of the downfall of oh my gosh, why can I not think of the tight
Devontae
end?
Adams,
Oh,
No.
Darren Waller, the Walrus.
Darren Waller.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My brain was not working.
No, yeah, no. He's
This is
not
where
gonna
we're
be
going to see the end of
getting.
Darren Waller.
Yeah, he's not gonna be getting near as many targets as
like,
he used to.
And the big thing here is
Not
the
gonna
fact that
happen.
he really hasn't been in training camp. Like, as far as
Yeah.
like getting reps or anything like that, it has been Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfro, and it's going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's why, like, for me, it's like, man, I've been drafting Hunter Renfro because of that. I was like, ooh, when you have a legit number one receiver across from Hunter Renfro is about to embarrass some folks. And
Yeah.
so,
Here's my thing on this game. I feel like you're going to see Derek Carr ascend, but we're really going to start to see the dynamic of what this Vegas offense is going to be. Is it going to be Devontae Adams? Is it going to be more Hunter Renfro? Is Josh Jacobs going to prove himself and stay on the team? I mean, we're going to see, and that's what we're going to be following all season long with them. The defense is going to be interesting too, not as much of a storyline as the offense. And then in terms of the Chargers defense, we're going to see how much they improved against run defense.
I mean, they
sure.
bulked up their interior D line, so I don't think they're going to get run over as much as they did last year. There's one thing I do want to add that I think is kind of interesting about the Raiders offense. I know we need to talk about Chargers definitely, but with the Raiders, I know a lot of people have thought Renfro maybe just because of how that McDaniels system has been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Also have to remember that McDaniels was the guy in 07.
Yeah.
When it was Randy Moss, Wes Welker, and Tom Brady was throwing bombs to Moss basically all season.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, Josh McDaniels is not just a slot guy when it comes to like offense and the scheme. Now, I do think you're going to get a lot of those option routes, but like you literally have the two best receivers for that in Renfro and
That's fair.
So I think like we know there may be a regression for Devontae Adams. I don't think it's as big as people are saying it will be, though.
No. But
I think he's going to still have a wide receiver 1 year. I think he's still going to be a wide receiver 1. He's just not going to have that much upside as he did with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So
I think final note here for Chargers offense, and we can all chime in on this. I think it's going to be interesting to see how wide receivers match up. I mean, obviously, we know this is a high-powered offense. Those younger offensive linemen are just getting more chemistry, going to be more solid. So it's really just going to come down to health, I think. I mean, Mike Williams should be a big part of this offense. I think Keenan Allen's going to regress a little bit, but this offense is going to be good. Hopefully Eckler can hold out too. But what are
I
your
think
guys'
they may run the
sure.
ball more, like
I can see that.
legitimately, because I
Yeah.
can see them going, man, we were high powered last year, but we left our defense out to dry. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
who was their first round pick this year? Zion Johnson. It was
Yeah.
a guard. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, if you want to beef that up, it's so if beef like
But they
literally
also
beef that
did
part of
make
the one.
some. Yeah, they also did
Yeah.
make some off-season moves, like who was it? Was it JC Jackson
Yeah,
that they acquired?
JC Jackson.
Yeah.
I was it was Slater. No, that's not Slater. There was
Rashawn
another.
Slater?
No, there was another. I thought there was another guard, but I might be completely wrong on that. But
Yeah.
I mean, Zion Johnson, JC Jackson, they re-signed Mike Williams.
Yeah.
And Josh Palmer looks to be the entrenched wide receiver 3.
Yep.
Bless you.
He's
And
this offense is looking very good.
very
Yeah.
good. Oh,
Very good.
Gerald Everett is also the tight end now instead of Jared Cook. Him and Parham.
Who do we got next? I don't want to talk about Gerald Everett. That guy sucks. Who do we got next?
No, I honestly just say Gerald Everett as far as it's a better receiving option. That's only going to help Herbert. I don't
Yeah.
think Everett is going to be like a tight end worth mentioning just because there's so many weapons. But if you have another like decent guy there, Herbert's gonna stay Herbert.
Herb the Perv. Ryan, who do we got next?
That is not the right
Okay,
Herbert.
This is my favorite matchup. Packers at Vikings. This is a game that
Ooh,
I wanted to
what a
watch
game.
at US Bank Stadium. I was so excited to do that, but finances did not allow me to go out there. But this game is going to be great. I think this new Devontae Adams-less Packers team, I think they're going to be more focused on the rush, which is great for AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones. They're going to be, I think they're going to be a great 1-2 punch in that Packers backfield.
Yeah.
But
That's your fantasy right there is Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're honestly, it's going to be hard to distinguish between which one is going to be producing more. So
I will
say both of them are high risk, high reward, either flex or RB2s. I would also.
Can I just about the AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones thing? I think if it's PPR, go Aaron Jones. If half PPR, I think you're good with both. And if it's standard, I think it's AJ Dillon. That's just how I've kind of been taking it. Aaron Jones has definitely been used way more in the passing game. So that's where I think
rumors that it's been opposite.
Here's an interesting note too.
Really? Okay.
Has been starting to be used in the passing game.
So
he can do it. I'm
getting out of the backfield really quickly though, because we could talk about that all night.
Yeah.
I think we could have a Christian Watson, Jamar Chase type situation happen.
Nope, it's not Christian Watson. I will tell you that.
Because
Watson.
Just hang on.
Really?
There was so much crap talk about Jamar Chase, and he didn't do anything in preseason. Yeah. You know, I think there could be a similar conclusion. Now, obviously, we have to go play football, but I'm just saying for the sake of prediction, I think that could be a legitimate situation of as long as he's not the one that Rodgers was talking about for dropping the ball, it could be a similar type situation where we don't see him produce early on, but when the season actually gets rolling, dude just takes off.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, look at this past like couple of weeks with hype. Speaking of Packers and hype, Dubs,
Romeo Dobbs,
however you pronounce it, Romeo Dobbs.
I think they said it was
this guy could for some reason the seas are parting for him right now.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was Cobb was down with an injury.
Cobb was down.
Christian Watson was down with an injury. That kind of paved his way for more playing time in.
And now Lazard is questionable for week 1.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think the seas are parting. The roster is parting before him, and he is being allowed to move up the depth chart. And we may see him start week 1, which would be awesome. I think that would be so cool to see him start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll
Yeah.
see if he produces. And one thing I did want to say on the other side of the ball, because I'm wearing a Vikings jersey, I am excited to see this KOC offense,
Yep.
and see how, number one, how Cousins transitions to this 3 wide receiver offense, or 3 wide receiver set
I think
offense.
Cousins can do it because he was in a McVay system in Washington.
Mhm.
So it's not
Yeah.
not like this is a brand new thing for him. Like he
Mhm.
was a legitimate fantasy option in Washington
Yeah.
for some of those years. And now when you get to do it with Osborne, Thielen, obviously Jets, and then on top of that, you get Rager, which I don't expect Rager to be
No.
much, but I think is something that's saying that, like, I think that says something to where you go and you basically add more to the receiver room. And I mean,
Yeah.
Rager was definitely a low risk, high reward kind of, a high risk, high reward. Sorry, I knew I flipped that. High risk, high reward. But I think that goes to show how much they're like, we need to get athletes in the receiver position.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're
Well,
making that an emphasis.
Like final notes for this. I think Dalvin Cook, obviously, and then JJ is going to come out and show he's the best wide receiver in the NFL.
And
be
kind of
wide receiver one.
all you need to know for fantasy.
Yeah, Jets is going to be a powerhouse this year, I guarantee, especially with this new offense.
Yeah.
So this next matchup.
Can I say one more
go
thing?
ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
About Christian Watson. I don't think Christian Watson is going to be a big factor in the beginning games. He missed time, but also let's remember, anyone from an FCS school within the last 2 years, I am giving him more grace than usual just because of that COVID season, because it was only D1 that really played.
Yeah.
So that's where is something I see Watson, the more reps he gets, I think he can be a strong playoff push kind of player. That's kind of just been my projection for him this year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see as the year progresses, see how he does. Okay, this next matchup, Buccaneers, Cowboys.
This
Sunday night game.
They are not them boys.
They are not them boys.
Has way more question marks than I realized. When I was thinking about this game, and literally Tyron Smith goes out. They just signed Jason Peters, which I think is a big deal because that lets Tyler Smith go back into guard. But do I have issues about Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, CeeDee Lamb? Yes, I have major questions about that because it's
which one of them?
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, which one of them is going to step up into that wide receiver 1 role? My guess is CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee's,
Michael Gallup, he could take over some of those targets. So
maybe later.
Is Gallup activated for week 1?
No,
no. I don't think no, but I'm talking about eventually. Week 1.
Eventually,
week 1 it's going to be all the same.
That's where Tolbert gets interesting.
Your Cowboy notes are the coming of CeeDee Lamb, the regression of Zeke, and Tony Pollard maybe securing. That's your storyline right there. Dak will be Dak. He'll be consistent.
I want to say this. They have been lining up Tony Pollard in the slot and lining him up outside.
For some reason, Memphis has been pumping out like wide receiver running back hybrids from Antonio Gibson to Tony Pollard.
I love that for Tony Pollard. That is going to be so awesome. That's going to be tremendous upside for him for fantasy managers. And, still getting some of that rushing work behind Zeke. I think that's going to be incredible.
He's someone that I'm like, I can see playoff push. It's Tony Pollard, honestly.
So glad I picked him up in the offseason.
Talk to us about the flip side, Ryan. What are your footnotes?
Godwin.
Yes.
Gotta keep an eye on Godwin.
He's a full part.
He's going to be. Yeah,
I read he was going to be healthy
for week 1
today.
They said he was going to be ready for week 1. It's still, as far as I know, it's a big question mark, but I believe that rumor is he's going to be ready and he's going to be playing on Sunday.
I just think this game's going to be weird. Tom Brady missed 10 days. They got Shaq Mason, but I don't know who they're filling in for center or for their other guard spot. Because
Yeah,
they've
both
had a lot of
centers went down.
injuries on
There's a
the-
lot
on
of
the line.
injuries that have happened on that line.
And I wanted to say, Fournette, they spoke out about Fournette getting a lightened workload. So
I
does that
he gained the
who
weight
was it?
back.
Rashad? Who is it? Who's their
Rashad White.
backup running
Rashad
back?
White.
Rashad White. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rashad White may become relevant. Who
He
knows?
really
Yes.
could.
And-
I just don't think enough to be a flex at the moment.
No,
But-
it would be a deeper
mean,
league.
Yeah.
Main
flex, like,
main footnotes: Tom Brady's the GOAT.
yeah,
I wouldn't be
of
concerned.
course.
Godwin ? But Mike Evans is going to take over this game.
More
Fournette,
like Godwin
he shouldn't
question
be.
mark explanation or
Yeah.
exclamation.
And there's Julio, there's Scotty Miller.
Yeah.
Like I think the
I-
third
yeah.
receiver,
Oh,
Russell
Jordan.
Gage. Sorry, Russell Gage was
Russell
the guy I couldn't
Gage. Yeah,
remember.
Russell Gage.
So I think it's going to be very interesting to see who is that third receiver, because that
Yeah.
third receiver has done really well the last couple of years. Whether it's
Mhm.
Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller was one guy
I-
at some
Tyler
point.
Johnson.
Gage.
Yeah.
No, Tyler Johnson's not there. He
He's
got
not
cut.
gone. Yeah,
He,
yeah.
He's got cut. Yep.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. But
Yeah.
he was that third receiver last year, wasn't it?
There we go. Story to follow. Josh, who do we got next?
The last game, and this game is going to be very interesting, but we got the
Monday
Broncos and the Seahawks for Monday night.
Yeah, it's the Russ revenge game.
Wait. We're missing a game.
Wait a minute, you're right. I am missing a game.
Yeah.
Where is it? Hold on.
Falcons Saints.
Yeah.
Put
Falcons,
some
Saints.
respect.
I have
on
that.
my
Falcons,
team's
Saints.
name.
Wow.
I
Wow.
must have missed that.
I did miss that. I apologize, everybody. Because
You
I also
should.
had
So let's
We will
talk
switch
about
that
that
back.
after.
No.
Let's talk about
It's
that
time
after.
it's time for my tangent. You guys have been going all night. I get to
Yeah,
go on
go
my
for it.
tangent.
Go for it, Ethan.
Listen.
Talk your talk.
Listen, I have the freaking Gavin wives over here who just won't shut up. But listen, the Falcons, man, I think we're gonna show a lot this week. I think Mariota is gonna surprise people with how well he's gonna do. And I think that mobile quarterback is gonna kind of change up just the pacing that because they've been so slow with Matt Ryan and methodical, and now they can be more dynamic, I guess would be the right word. I think you're going to see Drake London show why he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. I think they were really protecting him and trying to limit his contact in the preseason, but it wasn't anything serious in terms of his knee injury. And then, Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts. He's going to get multiple touchdowns against the Aints. And it's going to be a good game. I think you'll see Tyler Algier get a good amount of carries as well in terms of the Falcons. But I'll let you guys.
I think this game could be a low-key shootout. And the only reason why I think is
I agree.
because the Saints very quietly lost two of their starting DBs, Marcus Williams to the
Yeah.
Ravens, and then
Yep.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to the
Yep.
Yeah.
Eagles in a
Yep.
trade literally like last week. And
Yep.
I think there's that. I think you
I don't
also have
believe
to
Jameis.
realize Jameis Winston was actually really good last year, considering what weapons he had. Now consider the weapons he has this year, to where we're even saying Michael Thomas may not even be wide receiver one for them, to be honest with you. And
Really?
well, as in like
I have not been hearing that.
like he'll be starting, but I think on the fantasy output, I think Olave he
He's
has
gonna
a
be
bigger threat to
Really?
that than I think people realize.
Interesting.
Just
Yeah,
is
my
super
players to watch
savvy.
are Olave, and that's it. Olave.
Olave, I mean, Kamara is going to do Kamara things, but I
Is
think
he
this.
getting suspended? What's
No,
going on?
so it's
That's
going
a
to be.
big question mark.
it's the
That's
ex- Yeah, you guys remember the Zeke situation? I know we brought it up as like,
yeah,
oh,
like
follow it.
Let them play 2 games and they're like, oh, suspended.
Well, they said most likely it's not going to happen until the off season.
yeah.
So
Wow.
there's a good chance he may not even get suspended. That's why his ADP was so weird, because it was like it was from 7th and then in 1 week shot the second round.
Yeah.
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 Well, he'll be a late season trade.
Possibly,
off.
honestly. Yeah, but I would also say,
I mean,
Ethan, there's one thing we do want to talk about, and that is, are we ready for the era of Kyle Pitts?
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's gonna dominate. And
love
you can
it.
go ahead and intro what happened.
I love
in the
it.
draft.
Okay. So I want to bring this up because the moment, like this is usually taboo. Like you don't take 2 tight ends, right? Usually just because like in drafts, it's this whole thing of like, why would you do it? You're only limiting yourself. And I think me and Ethan here would like to propose the idea that doing it with Kyle Pitts is okay. And
He's
I
not a real
think
tight
don't-
end.
he's
unicorn.
he has
He's not a
lined
real
up.
tight end.
He literally isn't. If
Whatever.
we're really gonna play this, then
Not
this
a
is
real tight
on a
end.
dynasty level.
Whatever.
His
Shut up,
contract
Ryan.
situation is going to be so interesting. I think Kyle Pitts is worthy of a flex spot. He is really 50-50 tight end receiver. And I think it's okay if somehow you get a chance to draft like him and Andrews or something like that, then
Or him and Kelsey.
him or Kelsey at like getting that kind of combo, do it. Because that means one less tight end goes to someone else. It completely drops off. Like we know how tight ends are. Now, usually for me in most leagues, I really kind of went against that this year because I didn't want to get into the sweepstakes of going for 3 tight ends really. But I think in going to get 2 tight ends and put that pressure on the rest of your league mates who are probably not focusing on tight end, yeah, make the move. Do it.
But go ahead, Ryan, you want to respond?
Incorrectly.
I don't want to respond.
Ethan, you and I have won. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ryan's
Don't wanna
mad.
respond.
I have Kyle Pitts and Kelsey. Ryan, I'll see you in the championship game.
Look,
Watch
Yeah.
you not even make the playoffs. Just watch.
says the one
I-
who
I-
lost first
have you
round.
looked at my team?
Says the
Ooh,
one who
Third.
has won this
Third.
league, this ESPN league. that we
Says
have.
the scumbag
2 years
who
in a
set the
row.
championship for the last
years in a
week the
row.
NFL for
2
2
years in a
straight years.
row.
You absolute dirtbag.
2 years in a row.
You're a
That's all I have to
dirtbag.
say.
Look,
Monday Night Football.
Monday
Okay,
Night Football.
so-
We're going back to
Yeah,
it.
Monday Night Football. Broncos versus Seahawks. This is Russ's revenge game. How do you guys feel about it?
I think
Russ is gonna absolutely violate them.
yes, Russ is going to violate them, but I will also say perception is a real thing. I was deemed crazy for taking DK in the 7th round, though I think DK is actually going to be really good this year. And I think it's just going to be very interesting. He quietly survived missing Russ last year. If we really want to take a look back at stats, and then on top of that, they just signed him. Yeah, he's going to get looked at and he's going to get targets. They have to do so unless they want to suck for the rest of the year.
He's gonna be the only bright spot on the team.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate here. I don't think
Okay.
that he is going to get close to wide receiver 1 numbers. I think he's going to be a mid-grade wide receiver 2, maybe even low grade, because he has a very low floor. Look at who's throwing him the ball. Geno
So
Smith.
that's part of the perception issue too. I think Geno Smith is a lot better than what people give him credit for, but I can agree on the wide receiver 2 grade. Honestly,
I just don't think he's going to live up to his
Okay.
ADP, I
Well,
should say.
No, without going down any more rabbit holes, bold prediction, some to watch. DK may be the only bright spot on that team. I don't know who else would do anything other than him.
Yeah.
So we got DK Seattle in terms of fantasy. In terms of Broncos, everyone do yourselves a favor, start Jerry Jeudy. Do not second guess yourself and talk yourself out of starting someone who could be a top 10 wide receiver this year.
I think Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, I was going to
deserve
say,
slots.
both
Deserve slots.
I think Cortland Sutton is someone
Jeudy.
you can keep your eye on.
Yeah.
I personally think, I mean, we talked about Alberto, but it's really going to be the Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy show. And then obviously it's
Albert.
Javante's being like restrained by like
An old man.
basically.
But they're giving him more work than what he had last year. They split it pretty like down the middle between those two. And I think Javante is going to be getting the lion's share of the work.
I think if it's like 60-40, which I
Yeah.
think is the worst case. Well, the worst case would be 50-50, but even 60-40, Javante's a top 10 back.
And that's this week.
That
A
is
little bit
this week.
extended because of storylines, because the season's starting up. These will be
Yeah.
quicker, just quick fantasy notes.
yeah.
going forward.
Especially,
We'll hone it in.
yeah,
hone it in
we'll
as the
we'll
season
hone it in because I mean the
gets
big
going.
thing that I mean this is just again I'll go on a little tangent because we got one more segment, y'all. It's just it's going to hone in because we're going to learn more about each team as the year goes on. And it's just you're gonna understand, you're gonna dial in like basically who to look into, which matchups to look, and that's the joy of fantasy, honestly. But
Yep.
the joy of week one is just you've been football deprived for like months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for months, and it's finally coming back to us, and
Yeah.
we are so excited. So let's go ahead and go on to our next segment,
All right,
Our
guys.
final
Yes.
segment.
It's
This is
time.
the end.
which is
Bust,
sleeper, and lock.
It is
So-
back.
It is back. It is back. Okay, let's start with bust. I have as my bust Cam Akers. I think
Understandable.
against the Bills' high-powered offense, not just their defense, but offense. I don't see the Rams handing it to Akers very much this week.
Yeah.
On top of that, he's splitting the backfield with Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
So I don't think
Daryl.
I don't think he's going to be getting as much of a workload as many people think. You know, he produced a lot during the
20
playoff game that they had.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that end of the
Yeah.
year they were going to, so
Yeah.
2020.
But he didn't.
Yeah,
See,
so-
their run game in the playoffs, other than Sonny Michel, was trash.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
was
not
not
enough
good.
people are talking about
Yeah,
that.
he struggled, but he's now splitting the backfield with Darrell Henderson. I don't think he's
Okay.
going to be. don't
Josh,
he's
I
gonna
think
be
that's a
very
good
good.
thing.
Who's Justin?
Okay, so
Uh,
what's your bust?
Guys, I think it's Fournette.
Ooh. Okay.
And the only reason it's a lot of
Ooh.
extraneous circumstances. I think losing Jensen hurts. I think losing
Yep.
both your guards, and then at least you're able to replace one. But like
Yeah.
just losing
Losing all
O-line
the-
in general is not good. I think we just need to temper expectations. He was an incredible back last year, but
Yeah.
also everything went right, honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's something that we do have to understand. While I do think he'll still be good, I am questioning whether it's going to be top 10, but I could see
Yeah.
top
No.
15.
Yes.
And it just has to be like volume based. I don't know as
Yeah.
far as efficiency.
agree.
It's just there's been a lot of bad luck with Tampa so far, and I think unfortunately
Yeah.
that's going to hit Fournette in more ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Ethan, what is your bust?
The entire Washington organization.
Okay. Okay. So Ethan
You know-
says don't go
Yeah.
with
You know,
any Washington.
Can we talk
Commander.
about the fact that Chase Young re-aggravated his ACL?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's another
All we
issue.
can
I
talk
think
about
Yeah,
is how
he's
much they're
out
going to
for a while.
disappoint you this year. Just
Yeah, it's
don't
not
do
gonna
it to.
be- it
Yep.
will not be good. So Ryan, back to you. The sleeper of week one is
Ooh. Okay, sleeper. I'm not expecting too much from him, but I do expect him to produce. This is his prove it week for me. That's Dameon Pierce. We already
Ooh,
talked about him.
Good pick.
Mhm. Good pick.
We already talked about him. He's got a limited. He had limited time in preseason. Showed up though, so we'll see what he can do in game time against starters. You know, I think his workload alone makes him a RB2 with low end RB1 upside. So
Yeah. Good pick. Josh?
that's my
Very
sleeper.
good pick. This is going to be very interesting because I honestly have like 3 or 4 that I was like, this could be an interesting scenario. Personally, I'll say this. The Packers have 2 corners, but do they have 3? My sleeper and a deep sleeper is KJ Osborne.
Ooh, I like that.
Because
I
I mean
like
the,
it.
the
Bit
big
tinfoil hatty, but okay.
it's a bit tinfoil hatty. I would
Well, I mean, if you
I'll-
look at
yeah.
his production last year, he scored more touchdowns than some wide receiver ones on other teams.
yeah, and I
I think
think
he scored like 6 touchdowns last year.
yeah, and I think with Osborne that it's definitely going to be someone to look at. But if you do need a chain mover, and make no mistake, Jair Alexander's is going to be on Jets. Stokes 100% is going to be on Thielen, because you can't just have anyone on Thielen still. It's who is going to be going up against in Osborne, whether that they're going to have to use the safeties Amos or Savage, or do they have to use like Quay Walker or something like that? Which even then, I'm like, Osborne's legit. I got to see him play in Miami. I was like, all right, this dude's legit, and I'm happy that he's getting this opportunity. So I do think in PPR formats, he's definitely someone to look at. I'll say my other pick after Ethan's, but that's one I think is a shot in the dark that people need to think about.
Well,
Yeah.
mine's gonna be real cut and dry. It's ETN, man. I mean, there's a lot of hype that he has to go out and do it. And if he can show that he's the player that the Jags drafted there in the first round, he's gonna be a sleeper, a dangerous sleeper.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
yeah, no argument there. My other pick would have been Mooney, honestly.
Yeah, for sleeper. So I am kind of going off book when it comes to lock. So I have 2 locks,
Okay,
both on the same team, both running backs. My locks are Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. I think they're going to be leaning on the run game a lot. And I think just any combination of those 2 on your team, you can put either of them in a flex and lock it in.
Yeah.
They're there. Even even an RB2, I'd say you could put either of those in. If your RBs are super weak, throw them in and they'll get you good points. So I think they're locks for me.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that pick, and definitely both. I think you have to tell the story with both of them.
Josh?
Oh, this is tough. I'm going through it, and I'm like, I'm really thinking here. Man,
It's hard picking locks because you're going off of last year.
yeah, you're especially
not-
week 1.
Yeah.
I remember this. I said both AJ Brown and Julio. That was a mistake. I mean, there's
Josh doesn't get skin in the game, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. So let's just go ahead and go.
Yeah, go for it.
Lock has got to be. It's hard because there's so many good players too.
Yeah, I know.
I think I have 2, and they're both going to be playing on Thursday. Josh Allen. Oh no, only one is Josh Allen and JT.
Nice. Okay, I have 2. All right, so if we're going 2, I have 2 as well. So I got Debo as 1.
AJ Brown and Julio.
No,
Run it back.
run it back. I'm ready to get hurt again. No, I think it's going to be Debo, and I think it's going to be Allen Robinson.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Just personally, I think Allen Robinson is again way better than what everyone gives him credit for. Tre'Davious White, I think, is playing. What's that?
Now we can take a breath.
Yeah, now we can. But I really do think Debo will get his. I don't think Chicago is going to be very good this year. Just that team was in shambles, so I know they have some work to do. But Allen Robinson is that guy, and I think you're going to be hyper focused on Cooper Kupp, but then you're going to be like, crap, I could throw one-on-one to Allen Robinson and call it a day.
Right.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the preview.
That is it.
It is good to be back.
It
Native
is
and
great to be
Ironic.
back. Week 1 is at our doorstep, and we're going to be
Mom.
putting out 3 of these episodes a week.
They won't be
The
same.
other two are not going to be as long. We have, injuries and news, and then we'll have a review of the week where we just discuss what happens, any updates on injuries, anything like that for that week.
Yep.
Before we end, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at
I mean,
Last
as-
Place FP. Check us out. Please go there, comment on our posts. We offer advice on lineups, any
We just like
trades.
talking.
And I
Yeah,
will say,
we love talking
yeah,
football.
Yeah,
so.
I would say especially with Facebook because that's the one that offers like an unlimited word count. If you want to like talk out trade ideas or talk about or actually I would say mainly trade ideas because they're going to get very important by the trade deadline.
Yep.
Definitely hit us up there. That is
Hit us up.
that's
We
going to be
love-
one thing we're really going to be talking about this year for sure.
We love doing that. So go ahead and post any questions you have, trade suggestions, anything like that. So yeah, this is the week 1 preview,
Yeah.
and we are so excited to be into this year. So
It
And
is
thank
so
you guys
good
for
to
joining
be
us.
back.
Before we leave,
Yeah.
just remember, sometimes you're right and sometimes you're Ryan.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're bringing it back.
Oh, it never left. So thank you again, everybody, for watching the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. And we'll see you very soon.